Nebraska farmers say they're being impacted by a law on the books in the nation's second smallest state.
There's so much hype around some of these non-GMO things that it's kind of misleading the public.
We'll have more thoughts on GMO labeling, and we'll check out the Maine and Key Junior Nationals, plus the Brexit vote. Britain leaving the UK, what's that mean for the grain markets? We'll talk to our analyst straight ahead on Grow. Senators strike a bipartisan deal they say will avoid chaos over GMOs. Senator Pat Roberts of Kansas announced a plan to preempt a GMO labeling law set to go in effect in Vermont. Roberts says the science is clear, GMOs are safe. He says state-by-state laws would result in chaos. The Senate plan would allow packaging to use symbols or codes accessed by a smartphone instead of text on the label. Congressman Adrian Smith says the second smallest state shouldn't dictate what Nebraska farmers plant. He says GMO labeling is about marketing, not science.
There's so much hype around some of these non-GMO things that it's kind of misleading the public. Let's face it, there are naturally genetically modified organisms that are out there, the GMOs. So we need to be mindful of that as we educate the public and really allow the public to know what the real deal is without some agenda coming out of Vermont.
We'll have an extended interview with the congressman later in the program.
Pivot businesses will be busy again, turn them back up, and they'll get to the ones, I suppose, where the crops aren't so heavily damaged. Get them first.
Bertrand farmer Joel High lost 2 pivots last week, and they're not covered by crop insurance. The damage is treated more like casualty coverage for a home or vehicle. Monty Vanasik at Central Valley Irrigation says they got phone calls from farmers trapped in their shops or on their tractors during the storm, and by last Saturday, action was already being taken.
We have our claims are already emailed into the insurance companies, waiting for answers back on a number of those as they adjust the claims on Monday, hopefully Tuesday. They will be able to get us an answer back whether it's a repair or replacement of each individual unit.
Vanasik says manufacturers have an ample supply of equipment from pivots to parts so they can get farmers up and running as soon as possible. Cattle producers who suffer loss in extreme heat might qualify for federal help. The Livestock Indemnity Program, LIP, was restored in the 2014 Farm Bill. The director of the Farm Service Agency in Nebraska says producers may qualify for losses caused by natural disasters, including extreme heat and humidity. Those who have an interest in cattle in a feedlot may qualify as well. Producers are urged to call their local FSA office quickly to get things started. And the heat's no problem here at the State Fairgrounds for the Maine Anjou and Chianina Junior Nationals. Caring for cattle is a way of life for Melina Lindstrom of Elm Creek.
The basketball coach has been told many times that I'm going to be gone for a calf show, but he works with me, so they do come first, though.
Taylor Strope of O'Neill says it's no exaggeration, her cattle have it good.
My calves are more pampered than I am. They get more baths a day than I do, and it's crazy.
There are just a few of the kids competing on a national stage at the Maine Anjou and Chianina Junior Nationals. Taylor placed in the top 10 in 3 events, but says it's not about the awards.
Whether you're winning the whole show or getting last in class, it doesn't matter because you're having so many great opportunities.
Shows like this place an emphasis on growing leaders in the beef community.
Let's hope to educate the next wave of juniors that are going to grow up and go out into the industry, and we want to try to give them as many tools as we can so that they can succeed. And
many events take place outside the show ring.
Poster, quiz bowl,
having these speeches,
salesmanship.
And there are so many life lessons that you learn from showing cattle that you really don't get anywhere else.
Many of these kids will go into careers off the farm, and whether or not they do, they say it gives them a connection to one of the world's most important industries.
In this day and age, a lot of people don't know what we're doing out here. So it is crucial that we tell them that we do love our livestock and we are raising them to feed the world.
And as for the facilities, competitors say they love them and hope to be back here in the future. Now on to the crops, where things are off to a good start in Iowa and Nebraska, but there is some heat stress on the crops. According to the USDA, the Cornhusker State has been hotter than normal. Nearly 80% of the corn crop is rated good or excellent. Soybean emergence is also ahead of schedule. We're also seeing the return of drought conditions. We'll have the latest drought map later on in our Grow weather forecast. Armed with $20 million, the University of Nebraska will lead a project to help plants better withstand drought. National funding will help with the 5-year project that will draw on help from campuses from Omaha to Kearney. UNL will create 2 new faculty positions, while UNK will add another. They're going to study root and soil microbe interactions. They hope to learn how to withstand stress from things like droughts. And the head of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln is honored as a beef pioneer. Ronnie Green was recognized by the Beef Improvement Federation. He has a background in cattle breeding and genetics. In addition, Plum Thicket Farms of Gordon, Nebraska was honored as Producer of the Year, and Bill Rischel of North Platte was honored as a beef pioneer as well. And a pair of Nebraskans earned praise from the Humane Society of the United States. Last week, HSUS honored Senator Ernie Chambers as Legislator of the Year. Plus, they invited a Nebraska veterinarian whose allegations of animal cruelty sparked an investigation at the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center near Clay Center. HSUS says Jim Keene is a whistleblower who brought factory farm allegations to the front page of the New York Times. An independent panel later found no evidence of wrongdoing at the center. The University of Nebraska also stands by the work done there. Business is underway once again at what was the Elko building in McCook. The expansion of American Agriculture Laboratory brings in 5 new full-time positions. The laboratory specializes in the analysis of soil, plant, feed, fat, water, fertilizer, manure, sludge, compost, seed, and wastewater. Besides job opportunities, the owners say their goal is to be a resource for egg professionals as they try to meet the challenges of feeding the world's ever-growing population. A fertilizer plant in southwest Nebraska has reached a deal with the EPA. Kubler Oil Company of McCook will pay $100,000 penalty to settle alleged violations at its Culbertson plant. The EPA says it's related to storage and use of large quantities of anhydrous ammonia. Kubler Oil has 6 months to document that they are in compliance. An EPA inspection 2 years ago found more than 10,000 pounds of anhydrous actually having 620,000 pounds without the proper risk management program in place. Doors are opening to use drones in commercial operations without special permission. The FAA has cleared the use of small drones for takeoff, but there's a catch. Operators must register the drones online and pass an exam. They also must weigh less than 55 pounds and cannot fly higher than 400 feet. Saving a piece of the past before it's gone, conservation groups work to restore and maintain the prairie.
There are some birds like
Nebraska may not be known for mountains or lakes, but Chris Helzer says native prairie is a landscape to be treasured.
It's a habitat that is the dominant vegetation, dominant ecological system in Nebraska, but a lot of people don't really know much about it.
The land has changed greatly since homesteaders broke the plains with their plows.
Prairie has disappeared from a lot of the state. We have really productive crop field, which is great. But the few places of prairie we have left are important enough to keep and maintain. And
it is possible to restore farmland back into prairie, but experts say it's tough and may never be quite the same.
once a prairie's gone, it's gone. We can restore it, but we're not restoring the original prairie. We're restoring a part of the original prairie.
The Nature Conservancy holds an annual field day, hoping people find value in the prairie.
gives people a chance to come out and see the Nature Conservancy's land, see the property that we're managing. We talk about everything from plant identification and ecology to grazing management, fire management.
Helzer says native prairie is the best option for ranchers.
Because you've got the plants that are already adapted to the site. And because you have a lot of different kinds of plants, especially a lot of different kinds of grasses, in a wet year or a dry year, hot year, cool year, it doesn't really matter. There's always grasses that are going to do really well to keep the livestock fed.
It requires different ways of thinking, but the state botanist from Game and Park says it's worth the effort to maintain and restore.
In most of our prairie types, there's just not much left.
Exports are critical for Nebraska agriculture. What's that British vote mean for Nebraska producers? Our analyst stops by later to explain. Up next, we talk to Congressman Adrian Smith about GMOs.